What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Austin the Daniel Dover here, aka the Daniel, aka God's Warrior, aka the most shadow banned person on the internet. I appreciate all the new subscribers and all the love that the faithful few have been showing me over the last few years and the last few months. So yeah, appreciate all the help I can get. Getting the word out there, word about the show. I have another channel called French Louis Poetry. And the topic I'm going to discuss today, I've done some poems about it. I have a podcast as well on YouTube called The Christian Conspiracy. And I went over the dimensional code of Genesis. I believe Genesis 1 is a creation story about a dimensional code. And we live in a dimensional code, and they have stolen it with the universe. So this episode is about Terrence Howard's performance on the Joe Rogan Experience, where he says 1 times 1 equals 2. So that's something right down my alley. There is a series I do called The Shape of Numbers. So I will try to do this as less confusing as possible and as less crazy sounding as possible, because that's what it is. A craze is a maze. And we're talking about time loops, and we're talking about circle math, and we're talking about physical objects and non-physical objects, and it can make you sound crazy. I don't want to come too hard on Terrence. Terrence is not doing this from a bad position. This is what Globers should believe. It's only the flat earthers that should disagree with Terrence. He is not wrong according to the universal worldview. So he's saying 1 times 1 in the universe is 2. So I take a pen, I take a physical, he can't do it with a physical object, but let's do it with a physical object first. So I take a pen and I mirror it off the universe, and I have 2 objects, but I don't have a physical pen. So he takes light and he beams it off the universe, or he beams it off a mirror, and he says that light is eternal. Now that light has 2. But it doesn't. It's just a reflection of the same light. He's just mirroring the pen off of a mirror, or he's mirroring the pen off the universe, or he's mirroring light into the universe, and he's saying you have 2 light sources now. No, you don't. No, you don't. You have 1. You have 1. And you also have no proof of your universe. Your universe lives in a plane. It lives in a box. It lives in a computer. It lives in a picture. It lives in a reflection of light, and they don't recognize the plane of the reflection of light. So they'll call physics physical. They'll use that word. The word physics is talking about matter. It's talking about energy. What's matter? It's magnets. It's 2 connection points. And then the electricity in those 2 connection points is the physical realm of it. But it's not physical. It's not. It's not a pen. It doesn't have a carbon element. It doesn't have a dead gas. We have carbon, we have nitrogen, and we have hydrogen. We have fire, and we have water. And then we have air, and then we have, which is the water element, and then we have land. The land is made up of dead gas. The Big Bang doesn't have a carbon element. They just don't. They use aliens. The Christians, we use a God. Our God, though, says it's from him. Their God says you can tap into it and then host the power of it from itself, from its creation, and create a new creation. 1 times 1 in the universe, it gives birth to a new thing. That's what the whole heliocentrism is all about. And Globers will come along and go, that's crazy. It is crazy. But it's what you believe if you believe the earth is a spinning ball in outer space. You don't know anything until you know something. And then you know the opposite of it. So they'll say there is no 0. But what do we call the opposite of something? If there's something, I have a pen, and then I don't have a pen, I have 0 pen. I have no pen. So we give that a math code of 0. So Terrence wrote patents for VR machines, virtual reality. So you're going to live inside a computer. He's going to curve the lenses, and he's going to shoot lights and pixels to you so you can watch his movies. All right, great. He's a great actor. Fantastic. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's trying to produce better energy systems. He was in a movie called Iron Man, and Iron Man had a electric car, and he figured out how to power the battery. Nikola Tesla figured out how to shoot a lightning bolt, but he used a carbon element. They always have to burn something. This Earth does it for us, but it is a 3-in-1 system. There's that great record by Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the cover of it is where they have the pool that's on fire, and then the sky's water. Californication. Fire, water, and then we have something that intercedes to make the seed. Where does the seed come from? We don't know. 1 times 1 is just a reflection of your 1. You're just mirroring it. And you're just using a plane to do it. You're using a calculator. You're using a computer. That's your plane. Your calculator and your computer use 0 and 1. Terrence's calculator that he's going to tell you that 1 times 1 equals 2 is using a plane. It's using a box. It's using 0 and 1. And then it's computing everything within that time and space. You just wouldn't know it existed. You just wouldn't. God's creation is mirrored. That's what the whole thing is. And it does have a starting place. And we can know that that starting place is there. But if we recognize it as a plane, then we can't recognize it as a creation of its own and a creation of our own. And then all we can do is recreate it. We can use the elements of it, and then we can use them naturally. We can try to go against them, create bombs and stuff, blow things up. They love doing that. Create outer space so they can blow things up. They take money and create a new space agency that just blows things up. Space Force. It's fake, so they can manage value. Now, I don't think Terrence is managing value bad. I think he's trying to get a better battery system. He's trying to get a better energy system. I don't think he's trying to manipulate value in a negative way. And they don't like him for it, so they come after him. So I'm not mad at him, and it does expose the fact that this is what the heliocentrics believe, man. It's exactly what you believe. The flat earthers understand this, and you guys can't seem to comprehend that in your universe, you believe that you can beam your desires and have it create a new creation. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's always been about. And it doesn't work. There's no proof of it. And you have to join the lie. But the most frustrating part about it is they need a sacrifice. They need a sacrifice, and they use blood. And the reason I like Terrence is because I know he's not one of these whacked out devil worshipping Hollywood people. I've had a run-in with the devil worshiper and Hollywood people. He's not one of them. He might not be a perfect person, but he's not a bad guy. He's wrong, but he isn't wrong for a heliocentrist. He's just not. That's what they believe. Now, he could create batteries. He would have to partner with a plane. It just wouldn't be possible without an engine and without knowing it's there too. He's got to have a piece of paper. It would just be in what they would call the infinite of space. And it's just not there. Light is not eternal. You just don't see it forever. You don't perceive it that way. The physicists will say it is, and then they'll give you a bunch of math, but they're giving you math in a loop. What happens when their calculator runs out of batteries? What happens when they run out of pieces of paper? That's not infinite, man. That's not everlasting. So they need to figure out how to power the cells forever. They can't do it. I believe they're using baby blood to try to do it. And then they need a battery for it. And that needs a sacrifice. And it's sick. And they're whacked out of their minds because they think the earth is a spinning ball. So, no, 1 times 1 does not equal 2. It equals 1. It lives in a 10th dimensional realm. The dimension is a energy connector, points of energy, a die, a 10-pointed system. 0, the absence of something. 1, the circumference of that something. Now you have it there, but you don't recognize it yet. Then you have 3. You have the container of it. Then you have 4. You have the recognition of it. Then you have 5, you have the shadow of it. Then you have 6, you have an uneven shadow of it. Then you have 7, you have a point outside of it. 8, you have a time loop. 9, you have a power grid. And then 10, you're back to the beginning. And that is God's 10th dimensional flat existence. And existence means to appear. And that's what we do. We mirror. But we don't mirror God. Does God know he exists if we don't mirror it to him? I think so. But he wouldn't exist to us. And he sure seems to want to exist to us. And we don't want to do that with him. We want to create our own creation. And when you do that, you're stuck here on earth saying it's a spinning ball. And that's the game, man. That's the game. And then next thing you know, you're believing in the universe. And it's crazy that so many people believe that we live in a spinning ball in outer space, man. There's just no proof of it. And they're starting to sound really silly. 1 times 1 is 100% proof that they're whacked out of their minds, man. They're silly. It's not us, it's them.